Hey guys, what's up? So as you guys can see from the title of today's video, I wanted to make another book video for you guys, but because it is October and probably my favorite time of the year, not only because it's my birthday, but because I just love Halloween in the fall time. So I thought I would give you guys some books to read for the spooky season. A little disclaimer though, I have not read like any of these books, but these are kind of, you know, a couple spooky related books for the Halloween time that I'm considering putting on my October TBR, so I figured I would share them with you guys. Speaking of spooky books, I am actually sponsoring with Book of the Month on today's video, and they actually sent me 7 of their books for the October month. In the box they sent me this is the largest Book of the Month book I've probably ever seen. That thing's huge. Anyways, if you guys are unfamiliar with what Book of the Month is, it is basically a monthly subscription box, kind of like, you know, those things that you get every month that are like full of goodies and whatnot. Personally, my family has like snack ones, but this one is for books. This is definitely a perfect opportunity for readers to open and expand their mind to new authors and also just new stories in general, which thankfully Book of the Month does for us. Basically how Book of the Month works is each month the Book of the Month creators give you 5 books to pick from, and your first book you can receive for just $9.99 if you use the code BOO for this month's discount code off. I'll also have it linked down in the description box below so you guys have a direct link. Anyways, as I was saying, you get to pick from 5 books each month, and the books are all ranging from like pretty popular authors to new releases, debuts, which is also good for obviously the authors, but good for us readers who are looking for something new to expose ourselves to. For example, this month's 5 Book of the Month picks: The Perishing, Everything We Didn't Say, which is actually kind of like a thriller mystery book. The Ex-Hex, and I'm sorry, can we just take a minute to look art cover on this? It's so pretty. The Lincoln Highway, a novel, and I'm pretty sure this is contemporary Collison. I think that's Collison Whitehead Harlem Shuffle, I believe. Book of the Month also sent me 2 of their add-on books for the month of October to show you guys, and they actually look really good. This one is called The Book of Magic, which also I feel like would be a really perfect pick to read during the Halloween season because, you know, magic. And the next and last book they sent me is Apples Never Fall. This is also, I'm pretty sure, a murder mystery thriller book, which when I read the description of this book, if this is what I'm thinking of, it sounded really interesting. It's also a pretty decently big thriller book read, so I feel like I might end up putting this on my TBR list for October. But like I said, if you guys are interested in signing up with Book of the Month, you can sign up right now with the code BOO and get your first book for $9.99, which for a hardcover brand new book is a pretty good steal. The other thing that I really love about Book of the Month is it's not like other subscription services where each month you have to pay to get something. Book of the Month lets you skip any month that you want. Like, say you want to skip 3 months in a row, you can, and you won't be charged whatsoever. Basically, you only pay for the books that come that month. And again, thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. You guys know I love working with them, and I'm excited to continue working with them. So let's get on into today's video though. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my murder mystery thriller shelf, give or take. Also, sorry if I sound like sick. I'm just getting over a sickness, so that's why I sound kind of like nasally and whatnot if I sound sick. Like I said at the very beginning of this book when I was talking about Book of the Month, there are actually 3 books that Book of the Month sent me that I'm actually highly considering reading for this month. So I'll show you guys those really quickly before I show you guys the other recommendations that I have. Like I said, I really wanted to read Everything We Didn't Say. This just sounded super interesting when I was reading the synopsis on it. The synopsis on this book is: one night everything changed. Juniper Baker. Also, can we just talk about the name Juniper? I love the name Juniper. Beautiful. I'm pretty sure Ashley Tisdale named her daughter Juniper. Irrelevant. Anyway, was 19 when her world was torn apart. As fireworks lit up the summer sky, her neighbors were brutally murdered right outside their barn, and to Juniper's horror, her younger brother became the prime suspect. In an instant, everything she loved fell away. She escaped, pledged never to return. Until now. Officially, Juniper is back in town to help a friend, but really, she's here to repair her relationship with her teenage daughter, the source of her deepest regret, and to solve the infamous Murphy murders. As history begins to repeat itself, and a dogged local true crime podcaster— oh, I didn't know it was a podcaster! Oh, I'm totally reading this now— starts sniffing around, the race to the truth puts past and present on a dangerous collision course. Except this time, it's her daughter's life that hangs in the balance. I'm sorry, but this just sounds freaking amazing. And I read the synopsis on this when I first received the book, but for some reason I think I forgot about the true crime podcaster part, which I don't know if most of you guys know this, but my major in college is actually criminal justice, and I've been thinking about starting a true crime podcast, so I feel like this is really gonna resonate with me, But yeah, I really want to read this one. The next one, like I said, I can't give up my romance at all. I need a romance book. So I'm gonna read The Ex-Hex. I actually added this to my TBR a couple weeks ago before Book of the Month even sent me this book. Saw this in the box and I was like, I'm reading it. Not only does it have Halloween vibes to it, but it's romance. I'm reading it. I don't know about you guys, but this just sounds like a very light-hearted, Halloweenish romance kind of book. Nothing too romantic I feel like is gonna happen in this, other than some light fluff. The next book that I told you guys that I was interested in reading that Book of the Month sent me was Apples Never Fall. This is also a murder mystery book, and it is pretty dense, and I feel like it'd keep me entertained for a while. The Delaney family love one another dearly. It's just that sometimes they want to murder another. Yeah, because that's totally normal. If your mother was missing, would you tell the police, even if the most obvious suspect was your father? This is the dilemma facing the 4 grown Delaney siblings. The Delaneys are fixtures in their community. The parents, Stan and Joy, are the envy of all their friends. They're killers on the tennis court, and off of it, their chemistry is palpable. But after 50 years of marriage, they finally sold their famed tennis academy and are ready to start what should be the golden year of their lives. So why are Stan and Joy so miserable? 4 Delaney children, Amy, Logan, Troy, and Brooke— I really like the name Brooke— were tennis stars in their own right. Yet, as their father will tell you, none of them had what it took to go all the way. But that's okay, now that they're all successful grown-up, and there is the wonderful possibility of grandchildren on the horizon. One night, a stranger named Savannah knocks on Stan and Joy's door, bleeding after a fight with her boyfriend. The Delaneys are more than happy to give her the small kindness she sorely deserved. If only that was all she wanted. Later, when Joy goes missing and Savannah is nowhere to be found, the police question the one person who remains— Stan. But for someone who claims to be innocent, he, like many spouses, seem to have a lot to hide. 2 of the Delaney children think their father is innocent. 2 are not so sure. But as the 2 sides square off against each other in perhaps their biggest match ever, all of the Delaneys will start to re-examine their shared family history in a very new light. I feel like this sounds super interesting. I don't know about you, but it sounds very interesting. Those are the books from Book of the Month that I really wanted to read this month. Another book that I'm going to be reading this month for spooky season is actually the Discord's Book of the Month book pick, which, by the way, if you guys are interested in joining the Discord group chat, we talk a lot about books in there. It's kind of just like a community for all of us to just have a safe space. But each month we do a voting system where we pick a book to read that month, and this month is actually The Silent Patient. I feel like most of Book Talk and kind of know what The Silent Patient is, so I won't really go much into depth with this one. Some of the people in the Discord group chat have already read this one, and they said that the plot twist at the end is what the hell. So I'm really excited to read this one. It's pretty fast of a read. I feel like I could finish this in 2 days. So I feel like I always love the books that psychologically mess me up, books like these. I'm hoping that's one of them, and I feel like I'm gonna like it a lot. So the next book that I have to recommend you guys for the spooky season is actually a trilogy set, but I only have the second book with me because I left the first book at home and I don't have the third book. Anyways, I really recommend you guys read Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I currently have Good Girl Bad Blood with me at the moment. I have not read it yet, but I have read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder back a couple months ago because it was a Book of the Month pick then. If you guys are very into true crime and very into listening to true crime podcasts and love the investigation process and just figuring out everything like that, I genuinely think you guys would enjoy A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and pretty much the whole entire series. Even though I haven't read the whole entire series, I'm still gonna vouch for it because I feel like it's still gonna be so good. I definitely recommend you guys read it. The first book is a pretty fast read, but it's so interesting and touches on so many things. and I don't know, I just loved it so much. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like it's also a really good book stepping stone to get into like crime kind of books. So the next book that I'm going to talk about is actually a book that I've already kind of started reading, and I'm like a quarter of the way through of it. It kind of gives the same vibe as The Silent Patient, I feel like. It's called The Only Child, and I was actually recommended this book by one of the Barnes & Noble's employees. I think I have a vlog of me buying this book somewhere. It just sounds very interesting as a whole of a book, and it gives me the same vibes as The Silent Patient. I'm probably going to try and finish reading this one this month, and it's also up the alley of like psychological books that kind of like give you a brain twist. So if you're into that, I feel like you might like this one. All right, the next book that I'm going to read is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I am 110% reading this month. I have heard so many good things about this book. I have heard that it's really, really scary, and that it, like if you read it at night, you're kind of gonna like freak yourself out. But I'm gonna read it at night just because I want the full feeling, the full effect of spooky season, and if that means scaring myself half to death, okay. The next book that I definitely want to read this month, I feel like at this point, like this is literally just a video of all those spooky books I want to read this month, not spooky recommendations, but it kind of is. The next book that I want to read is called Then She Was Gone. Intertwines like true crime and spookiness. It's mostly like a thriller and like a mystery type of thing. Basically, our main character, Laurel, is a mother, and it was 10 years after her daughter Ellie's disappearance. She had met a man in this cafe, and he was really, really charming, and this guy ends up having like a younger daughter named Poppy, who has a very similar resemblance to her daughter Ellie. And also basically in this book, she finds out a lot of things about people in her life that she was not aware of, and it just sounds really, really interesting. I feel like it's gonna be super, super good. I feel like it's gonna give me like the same feelings as A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, just because I feel like books that like go into like investigating really intrigue me, because like that's kind of what I want to do. The next book that I really want to finish this month is actually a book I started. I only got 1 chapter into it. It's called The Perfect Marriage, and essentially what it is, it's this couple that is married, and the wife is a defense attorney, and the husband is basically like a struggling, I think he's like a struggling writer or painter or something like that, and he's been having an affair with this woman, and he ends up taking her to their like shared cabin, and she's found dead, and the #1 suspect is her husband. So now she's defending her husband in this murder trial. And the last book that I have to recommend for this spooky October month is a book, again, I haven't read. It is Asylum. I feel like most people have read this just because they've been out for so long, but this is apparently supposed to be like a spooky book, and I guess it's like in a series, so I feel like if I like this one, I'm gonna get the rest of them. It looks a little kiddish almost. I feel like I feel like this could be like a 15 and up read, I feel like, maybe. If you guys are curious what the synopsis on this one says, once you get in, there's no getting out. For 16-year-old Dan Crawford, the New Hampshire college prep program is the chance of a lifetime. Except when Dan arrives, he finds that the usual summer housing has been closed, forcing students to stay in crumbled Brookline dorm, formerly a psychiatric hospital. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that. I would drop out. As Dan and his new friends, Abby and Jordan, start exploring Brookline's twisty halls and hidden basement, they uncover disturbing secrets about what really went on here. Secrets that link Dan and his friends to the asylum's dark past. Again, I would drop out, because it turns out that Brookline was no ordinary psych ward, and there were some secrets that refused to stay buried. Featuring haunting found photographs from real asylums. I'm sorry, huh? This is not a book I'm reading tonight. And the mind-bending reading experience blurs the lines between past and present, friendship and obsession, genius and insanity. I feel like I should read this at night, but at the same time I feel like I'm gonna give myself nightmares if I read this at night. So anyways, those are all the spooky October book recommendations slash kind of TBR list that I kind of want to read for this month. Obviously this is not all the books that I'm gonna be reading for this month, and I'm obviously not gonna read all of these books, but I just figured I would give you guys kind of some ideas of what to read for the spooky season. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you guys haven't already. And if you guys have any other like spooky book recommendations for this October, leave them down below. And again, if you guys are interested in signing up for book of the month, the link is going to be down in the description box as well. Other than that, that is all I have for today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.
I used to take myself out on dates, open my own damn doors, pay for everything on my plate. Sometimes I'd even get the steak. Cause I got it like that. Always had my own bag, never needed no man to rely on. Got two good shoulders to cry on.